Welcome to Business Q&A. While a battle for ownership of the bond exchange of South Africa may soon be unleashed, the exchange today demonstrated its newly launched options exchange called JustTrade.com. Rory Mackay is CEO of JustTrade.com. Welcome, Rory.
Good evening.
Your name, I don't know why. Rory, this is an exciting, well, it sounds very exciting. It sounds quite complicated. It's a binary options exchange. Now, binary, we know two possibilities. Does that imply that you're in some way betting on two financial possibilities?
Indeed. The easiest way to describe it is a financial bet. There is an outcome of some kind, and you're taking a view on what that outcome is going to be. It is a speculative instrument, no doubt.
How does it differ from just straightforward betting at the bookies or a gamble?
It differs in quite an interesting way. I mean, the thing is that I know for a fact that every time you get in a car, somebody takes a bet on your life, and you call them insurance. So there's many ways of framing risk. In my opinion, we're simply looking at risk within a financial paradigm and utilizing it for the public good.
So give us an example of the kind of scenario that one would be placing, on which one would be placing such a financial bet.
Well, here's one that's really, really interesting for most South Africans. Is interest rates going to go up in December when the governor meets for the Monetary Policy Committee? And we have contracts on that, and people can trade them and hedge some of their exposure there. And not only that, but what we get out of it is that we get very, very accurate probabilities of whether these events will take place or not.
So how many contracts have you already sold on that scenario of the MPC in December?
At the moment, I think there's probably a turnover about 15 or 20 contracts.
Per day or in total since
In total
launched?
so far, since we've launched, yes.
Okay, and then just asking about the usefulness or the application of this, you spoke about hedging one's risk. So if somehow one's portfolio is exposed to the risk of an interest rate hike, say, would one then counter that by buying such a contract?
Absolutely. The one thing to remember, though, is that it is not a non-linear payoff. I mean, it's not a continuous payoff. So what it really means is that it's a finite amount that you're going to get back. So you're not going to be able to hedge a couple of increases in an interest rate, but just one particular occasion.
Okay, so it goes back to the adjective binary.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, the joke is there's 10 kinds of people in the world that understand binary.
Now, explain to us how this is priced and what the cost would be of entering such a contract.
Costs are very low. We've set up the exchange in a format which is denominated as the aggressor pays. So if you put a price into the exchange and somebody trades on your price, that you trade for free. If you aggress a price, i.e. hit a bid or take an offer, then you pay R1.50 per contract. The contract sizes are denominated in 100 Rand. Mm-hmm. That's really what it would be. So
perhaps going back to the previous point you made, how does this binary options contract differ from, say, contracts for difference? Contracts for difference
have a continuous payoff, whereas a binary option pays out a finite amount on an event taking place. That's the difference.
Okay. And explain to us perhaps the structure or the ownership of JustTrade.com, and I asked that question in the light of what I mentioned in the beginning, this battle that's looming. How does the launch of JustTrade.com fit into BISA's plans for revamping its strategy?
Well, I think the best person to answer that would be Garth. But however, my view is that I think an integral part of their strategy, we're attempting to reach out to a market that hasn't been explored in South Africa. We want to attract speculative interest, and we're providing an instrument which is very reasonably priced and easy to trade. Anywhere you can log onto a computer and get into the internet, you can access the market and trade.
Again, a similar question, you might have fobbed me off again, but if the JSE were to buy the bond exchange of South Africa, how would that affect JustTrade.com?
I'm pretty sure it wouldn't affect it. It would be business as usual. I mean, we have obviously contracts with the bond exchange, which would have to be honoured.
The likely profitability of JustTrade.com?
I beg your pardon?
The likely profitability of JustTrade.com. Again, I asked in the light of the bond exchange's loss-making position.
Okay. We think it will be profitable. It's very inexpensive. Our business model is built around volume. And we expect a lot of volume to come through. I mean, there is speculative interest in financial markets.
I'm sure it's easy to go to your site, JustTrade.com, but for someone who'd like to trade, what does one need? What are the basic building blocks?
Basically, go to the site, register, send us your FICA documentation, place some cash into the BISA Trust account, and begin trading.
And the minimum with which you could trade?
You could trade with as little as 100 Rand.
Rory, thanks very much. Rory Mackay is CEO of JustTrade.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.